Tell me, darling, could we run away? We could hide away by the cactus desert blue. I can see it just a mile away from this crowded place. I could lay there next to you.
Hello friends, welcome back to our channel, Best Freaking Friends Forever. So today we're going to be talking about two movies, The Princess Bride and The Goonies. But first we're going to we want to thank you guys for once again tuning in. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe below or like or comment below. So today we're going to do our icebreaker first, which is something fun we got for Christmas. So what did you get for Christmas that was fun or something that you were not expecting?
Tony bought me a picture frame, and inside it has all of our names, and it's like the Scrabble pieces.
Ooh.
And so all of our names are connected. Yeah, he said that some of our names were so long that it almost didn't work. So I got that. It was really nice. He's always trying to get me to cry. That's his goal. He always wants me to cry. And I started crying before I opened it because I kind of figured I had an idea of what it was. And then I kind of, because I cry really easy anyway. And so I finally dried it up before I finished opening it. And then he goes, cry. And I'm like, you're just going to have to find something new, because he's bought what? So for Mother's Day this year, he bought me, it's Daenerys from Game of Thrones, and it says Mother of Dragons, and it has the kids' names under each dragon. And I bawled my eyes out. And so he's been ever since then, he's tried to get that same reaction. Like, he got me the Star Wars with Leia and Han, and it says, I love you, I know. But they're like little Lego. They're little Lego pieces, like characters. They're really cool. So now I'm going to have to do a whole display somewhere of all these ones he's got me this year.
That'd be cool. I like that.
So what did you get that's fun?
Well, I actually got a couple. Well, I got a doorbell ring, which I was definitely not expecting, which will be fun once I get it set up.
You'll like that.
I think I will. I know my neighbors, I was watching their dog one time, and I walked out their door, and I was locking up and everything, and the next thing I know, I hear, hey, and I'm like, because it was like 9 o'clock at night. It scared me half to death, and then I hear laughing. So they were talking through the doorbell ring. Yeah, I think that'll be fun. And then my brother's girlfriend had me for Secret Santa, and she got me a bunch of cute little things that were very, very, I guess, she took time to plan it all out. So it was very nice. And she wrote me a nice little note. So that was nice, too. That was unexpected.
Yeah.
So I did that. But yeah, so those are two things that were really fun this year.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, but we had a good Christmas, and my only complaint, as everything else, it's never long enough. That's my only complaint.
Then you have the after of, well, now what do we do? It's over.
I know. It is sad. Well, it was nice because we didn't go anywhere this year, so it was just nice to sit and play with the kids. And then yesterday, the day after, no, 2 days after, well, the day after, the in-laws came over, and we did gift exchange with them, and then yesterday we went sled riding. And so now it's the week, and so okay.
Well, we had a white Christmas here, which was
Yes.
we have not had a white Christmas in a very long time, so that was pretty special too.
Yeah. The last time I remember it being just white on the ground, it wasn't even like this Christmas, just kind of white, was the boys were little. So
It's been a long time.
Right, and even that wasn't even like what we had this year. Was like the roads were covered, the snow plows were out, which thank you so much for that, because I told my husband, I was like, I feel so bad for them, like having to be out plowing the roads, and they have to for, first responders and stuff, to make sure they can get to where they need to safely. So the people that still make the world tick, I appreciate them.
Yes, absolutely, because without them, it'd be very hard to do much.
Yeah. So yes, it was bad enough that they had to stay out away from their families and clear roads.
Yes. Yeah. So anybody that is one that's watching right now that plows or does anything like that, thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. All right, so we got 2 movies.
Yes, the first one we're going to do is Princess Bride. These are like the 2 movies we're doing today are 2 of my favorites. As a kid, and just they're classics. They're cult classics. So yeah, The Princess Bride. It was released in October of 1987. So it's about 33 years old. The budget was 16 million. The opening weekend, it only made $206,243, which in today's inflation and all of that would only be $471,000 opening weekend. So that's not great for a budget or a movie that had a budget of 16 million. And then it grossed 30 million, well, almost 31 million US wise. And then so that equated to 68 million in today. And the same thing for worldwide. It grossed 68 million. So not too bad. And again, it's another movie that has stood the test of time. People know the lines. I mean, you can quote. They've got one-liners that people quote all the time. So
Yeah, Tony, is it message for you, sir? Is that in?
yeah,
Yeah, Tony has that as a ringtone.
I'm Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to. I mean, inconceivable. All of
Yeah,
this. So
yeah.
yeah. I mean, I watched an interview with the cast getting back together for one of the reunions, and they were just one. The interviewer asked them. She said, "Do you guys ever get quoted back your lines?
Hmm.
Like if you're on the street just walking, your normal day?" And they're like, "All the time. At least the man that played Inigo Montoya, he's like, yeah, at least 3 times a day when I'm out. He's like, people will come up and say that to me. So
Yeah,
yeah,
but I mean, I'm sure you like if you're having a rough day, it probably might be a little annoying, but at the same time, like for it to still when what this was in 87, 33 years later, and for it to still be
register.
that movie, yeah,
I mean, I feel like every year they probably get, more and more people become fans of it. You know what I mean? So they get new fans all the time. Like,
right,
well, we're fans. I don't know if my parents were, but I don't see that being a movie they particularly liked. But yeah,
yeah,
they get new and aged fans all the time. So yeah, it probably would be.
yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, I never watched it as a kid. I've watched it as an adult. So both of these movies, which I'm very disappointed at that I didn't get to see them as a child. Like I did watch these in my adulthood, and I got in a lot of trouble with Tony for that.
well,
But we
yeah.
when I was I mean like yes, we watched stuff when I was a kid. But we were outside a lot. I mean, we spent most of our days outside. The only time we were really even in the winters, we were still outside. We were very rarely in the house watching something. And we didn't even have like cable or satellite, anything of that sort until I was in middle school. So I was teenage years before I even like had. So a lot of this stuff, I would have watched probably when I was younger. And, so anyway, and I mean, we would rent movies and stuff, but it was usually something my parents wanted to watch or a newer movie that had come out.
Yeah, see, with the Goonies, when we talk about it, that's one that every time we'd go, Mom would take us, and I would have to get that movie. Like,
Yeah.
every time.
Well, and these movies are actually, these came out when we weren't even here. Like this one, we were born that year.
I
That's
mean,
our,
that's what I'm saying. I don't know. That's what I'm saying when I said that they get new fans all the time. This is a cult classic. New and new people
hmm
like it. So, yeah.
yeah. So what's your favorite part?
This one was hard for me. Like, I don't know. I kind of liked the part where they're before they or when she finds out who he really is. Like when he's rolling down the hill, like right before that, obviously, I think he knows who she is, but she doesn't know who he is. And then as he's rolling down the hill, and he says, as you wish." And I'm like, oh, I don't know. I kind of like, and then she rolls down after him and tells him how sorry she was that she threw him down the hill.
Yeah.
I kind of like that part.
Yeah. It's funny because, like, the whole time he kind of gets, like, snooty with her. Like, when he's the masked, the masked pirate. And he just keeps, because he's aggravated with her. Like, why would you leave him? Why would you leave him? Which is him. And, you must not really know what true love is. Like, that was kind of fun to watch.
Yeah.
And my favorite part is when the Battle of the Wits.
Yes.
When him and Vinzi, is that how you say his name?
Vizzini.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, whenever him and Wesley, when they go, I like that. Because he just kind of talks himself around and around and around and around, and then he ended up putting the poison in both drinks anyway, so it didn't matter which one he picked. I don't know, I think we should talk about Andre the Giant.
That story is so sad in a way, because I've watched interviews with Rock, because they were so close with him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you watch interviews with the cast, and when he passed, they were devastated. Like, they still bring him up, and they're like, we missed him. Like, he was such a good man. Like,
right.
Yeah, and he had so many, like, health issues, though.
Yeah. Well, I think his heart was the end of him, right?
I think so, but he had back problems. Like, he couldn't, like, during the filming, you would think that he could have caught Robin Wright, which is who plays Princess Buttercup. She was teeny tiny. He couldn't even hold her, his back. Like, she had to be fastened in.
Yeah. Well, and, like, you can tell by the way he walks that it's painful. You can tell, even in the movie. One fact that I found that I liked was when asked what his favorite thing about making this film was, Andre the Giant replied, "Without skipping a beat, nobody looks at me." Yeah. He felt treated as an equal. I thought that was really cool. Without people staring at him because of his grand height. Yeah, because do we have his height? We didn't even find that, did we?
No.
Real quick.
I think it's close to 7 foot, if not taller. They wanted a big guy for him. But I know Robin Wright had said, because it got really cold where they shot.
Mm-hmm. He was 7'4", so wow. a foot taller than Tony. Tony's 6'4". Mm. So that's big. That is big. And yep. I'm tall for a woman. I'm 5'8", and I love every inch of it. So the only, like I always say, the only thing I don't like is I don't like falling down. That's a long way to go.
I know it was cold where they shot, so he would put his hand on Robin Wright's head. Yeah. And his hand would go like this, and it would cover her whole entire head and keep her warm. Like, he kind of got, like, he would drink them under the table when they'd go out. He would order all kinds of appetizers. You could tell the cast just loved him. Like, he really became a friend. Yeah. And it was they talked about how he couldn't ride in a car with them, like, to go to locations. He had to be taken on a 4-wheeler. Mm-hmm. So he talked Wesley's character, or the guy that played Wesley, into taking him on the 4-wheeler, and they went riding. Well, he got his foot caught in between a rock and the gear shift or whatever, and broke his toe during filming. And they didn't tell the doctor at first, but they ended up finding out. But yeah, they, and I guess it was just, I don't know, they had a good time. And I know all of them, even the man that played Inigo Montoya, he was very close with him too. So, they all had their moments. So.
Yeah. Something else I found was there really was a dread pirate Roberts, Bartholomew Roberts, also known as Black Bart, who operated in the Caribbean in the early 18th century. He is reckoned by many to have been the most successful pirate of all time.
Yeah, I did read that too.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting that Carrie Ellis, who played Wesley, and Robin Wright, who played Princess Buttercup, they were smitten with each other during filming, which helped with their chemistry. So he said he could concentrate after meeting her for the first time. He couldn't concentrate on much.
Is she? I don't know, man. The acting for her is just so dry. Didn't you ever,
No, I think she was made. I think that character was made to be like that. At first she comes off kind of like oh my goodness, like she's an awful person. Like, farm boy, fetch me this, farm boy, fetch me that, farm boy, you know. And he was like, as you wish. Like, that's all he would say. And, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
He's a good actor. He's been on a lot of stuff.
Savage never met Carrie Elwes during this shooting. The boy, the little boy, the grand.
Yeah.
He never met. He never got to meet him while filming.
Wonder Years.
Mm.
He played in Wonder Years.
And I don't know what happened. Something must have happened because I guess he's not. And no one said why. He won't speak to it. But he never attended any of the like the 25th anniversary of it or anything like that. He didn't attend any of those. Like when the cast got back together, he didn't attend either one. I think they've gotten back together twice, and he's not attended either one for some reason.
Yeah, maybe just because his character is maybe an afterthought. You don't really, because I mean, we've talked about everybody else except for him.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I don't know.
But Billy Crystal's in this.
Listen, that was something else too that I read and found. I guess when he's a big ad-libber. Like he's a big. I'm just gonna go on my own little thing, and I guess he did it so. Like he did such a good job. I guess Inigo Montoya's character, or the guy that played him, the only reason or the only injury he got was he did something to his rib because he laughed so hard at his jokes when he would, and obviously he would. I mean, he had the director, one of the behind the scenes people had to leave each time they filmed him because he would ruin the takes because you'd be able to hear him laughing uncontrollably in the background. Because he would just go on, and most of it was not fit for kids or this kind of movie, so they'd have to cut all of it. But right. I guess he was all in stitches when he would do his parts.
The Goonies.
Yes, the Goonies. This is my favorite movie. I love the Goonies.
It is a good movie. Very good. I enjoy it. I like it.
Yep. So, and I always thought that this movie was also released in '87. But it was actually released in 1985. Mm-hmm. So it's older than us. And its budget back then was 19 million. It grossed $9 million its opening weekend. So that equated to 21 million, like in today's time.
Right. Can you imagine though? Like I think about this when I'm thinking of something else. Can you imagine? You're a director. These people invest in you. And you spend millions of dollars, and then you don't even break even. That's what blows my mind with these movies. And sometimes you don't even make half.
Right. Well, and that was just opening weekend. Now in the U.S., they grossed 63 million, which equates to today 152 million. And then worldwide, they did about 63 almost 64 million, which equated to 154 million in today's frame of money. So, yeah, I mean, you got to put money into it. And really, I mean, I feel like they shot in Astoria, Oregon, which was, and most of their shooting was done there. I think except for the pirate ship scenes. I think they had to go to LA for that. But they did. They shot in Astoria, Oregon for most of it, just like they said where they were from. So I thought that was kind of cool that they actually shot on site.
Well, Tony saw where somebody had bought the house, the Goonies house, and I guess the owners before them were really nice and let people come on the porch and take pictures and stuff, and now the new owners have no trespassing signs. But I just feel like when it comes to houses like that, you just somebody needs to buy it and turn it into like a mini museum. Like, that's crazy to me to let like just a regular person buy a house like that, because that would get annoying. That, having, like, I couldn't imagine having people wanting to be on my porch all the time. That would get annoying. So somebody just needs to come in there. I don't know. You would think, like, somebody in the Goonies would buy the house, and just have, like, a little side profit.
Or you think the city would buy it.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, like, you would think the city or the state, and they would, like, the Christmas Story house. Didn't they do that with that, and they turned it into, like, a little museum type thing? Or do something?
Yeah, the Waltons, they did. Mom and Dad went and seen that house.
See, I didn't know that one. But that's pretty cool that and I feel like they shouldn't let houses like that go, like you said, because people, listen, it's a house that was, it's well known.
Mm-hmm.
People obviously know that's in Astoria, Oregon. So obviously, if they're in Astoria, they're probably going to go look for it.
So this has Sean Astin in it, which is a very well-known actor. Lord of the Rings.
Rudy.
Yep. Um,
Well,
if,
his mother is huge. Like his real mom is well known, like his mom, and his dad
oh,
played.
gotcha.
Yeah, his dad is obviously his biological dad, like his dad plays on the Addams Family, like the original
Mm-hmm.
as oh my god, I'm losing names today. I can't think of them. Anyway, both his mom and dad are very famous people in the
Oh,
business. We're both in the business as well. Like his mom is huge.
okay. And then, well, for younger audience, he's also in Stranger Things.
Is he? I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Huh.
he comes along in season 2. I won't spoil anything. But of course he becomes like a well-known or a well-loved actor or character in the series. Um, I don't know. I always liked him in 51st Dates.
Oh yeah, he was the
He's the
brother.
brother. Yeah. Oh, that's such a funny character for him to play. I just always like him in that one. And
Mm-hmm.
then Josh Brolin, who
That was
is
the girl. Yep.
yeah, that's Thanos. Yep, he plays Thanos.
Hmm. I'm gonna have to go back and watch that now because I did not catch that.
Yep. Yeah, he's a bigger actor too.
Well,
Corey.
Sloth, he was a football player.
Yes. And then of course Corey Feldman. He is the two Coreys. They weren't even friends during this movie.
So they met on this movie because
Oh, okay.
they both auditioned for it, and Corey Feldman got the role, and that's how him and Corey Haim first met.
Right.
Started friendship.
So when I watched it again for our video today, um, Steph, the girl that plays Steph, I'm like, man, I know her. And I kept racking my brain, and I was going through IMDb, and then I finally found it, where I know her from. She played in a show called Raising Hope. She was the mom. And so that's where I had remembered her from. And that's a pretty good show. I like that one. Have you ever seen it?
I have not. I mean, I knew she was in it, but I did
Yeah.
not watch it now.
Yeah. Yeah, they have a little bit of well-known actors as of today, because that doesn't happen too often.
No, it doesn't. I mean, especially with child actors. I mean, I think the guy that played Chunk, I think he's still in the business too, but I think he's more behind the
Mm-hmm.
camera than he is in front of it, I think.
Yeah. And this
So
is a Steven Spielberg movie.
he directed a couple scenes, yeah.
So he's
Yep.
one thing I found that they did was the Goonies had an oath. Did you know that? And they cut it out. So I
Yep.
found that. I'm going to read it. I will never betray my Goondock friends. We will stick together until the world ends. Through heaven and hell and nuclear war, good pals like us will stick like tar. In the city or the country or the forest or the boonies, I am proudly declared a fellow Goonie.
I know when Mikey does his Goonies talk, the first one, I think he told him the story of the Goonies first. Like the director told him it, and he was like, okay, now, and they didn't really give him time to rehearse it. They were just like, okay, now tell me in your best, like basically a retell of what I just told you. And then they filmed him doing it. So when he was kind of giving them, because I don't know, that's my favorite part is when he's talking to One Eyed Willie, when
Yeah.
Mikey, One Eyed Willie, and he's telling him, you were the first Goonie, and all of that, and then he starts to cry a little bit, and then he looks and he sees Bran looking at him. He's like, "How long have you been there? Long enough, Mikey. Long enough." Like
Uh-huh.
I like that part.
So okay. So I was talking to Tony about this too. So Mikey and Brienne's relationship on screen seems so tight. They're very like touchy feely. They're very brotherly to one another. Like I feel like a lot of movies when there's brothers, they like to pick on each other and go back and forth. Where I feel like this one, it was more of a bond, which I really enjoyed. I mean, there's that scene where somebody hands them a letter and says, "Here, give this to your parents," and then Brand comes back on the porch and they hug.
Well, and he
And
pulled in and he's like, I know. And like, yeah, I liked that part too.
I
I
just
thought,
like there were, yeah, I don't like. I try to raise my kids to like you two. At the end of the day, the three of you are the only three you ever have. So let's get along and like each other. So my kids are very close because I have made that bond happen. And I see siblings that aren't and they fight and I'm like, what is going on? That's just so foreign to me. And when I see it in movies, I don't like it, or TV shows. It's like they need to get along. And I understand siblings are going to have their fights, but I could just tell, I don't know, because it makes me wonder what their off-screen relationship was like. Because if they were so close knit, like what you see on camera, like I can't imagine what it was like off camera for the two of them.
yeah, because I think if to get that close, like I know, like I go back to Supernatural with, Jensen Ackles and Jared Padalecki,
Hmm.
who are brothers, Sam and Dean. Off screen, they are literally like non-biological brothers. Like they are there for each other. Like they lived close to each other. I think they even lived together in Vancouver during shooting and stuff like that. So I mean, but they are like their bond is just. I mean, you can see it in season one, even with
Right.
just them meeting. But yeah, but it's also like that off screen that doesn't just go away once you're not shooting anymore. And I
Hmm.
think for them, it made it very hard for them to like leave the show
Yeah.
because
Well, like even in Game of Thrones, Sansa and Arya, who play sisters on the show, they bicker so bad, but their off-screen bond is like when you see them in interviews, they like hold hands and they have like they're always touching and like they have such a strong connection. And I think that's why their banter is so good on screen is because well, she's gonna forgive me at the end of the day. Like I can sit here and say what I like they have such a strong bond that it doesn't matter. I don't know. I think that's why they work so well together on screen too. I don't know. I just think it's so important to have. That's like in The Notebook. I guess Ryan Gosling and Rachel McAdams hated each other from everything I've read. Yeah, we're getting away from.
Jennifer Grey, Patrick Swayze, they
Yeah.
hated each other during filming too. But yeah, and that's why the Fratelli brothers, the two guys that play the Fratelli brothers in this movie, going back to it, that's what got them the roles. Their
Mhm.
banter in their audition, because I guess they must have auditioned together because their banter off or during their audition is what got them the part or the
Oh,
part.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And actually, I didn't know this that Fratelli in Italian means brothers. I
Yeah.
didn't know. I I guess.
Yeah.
I, but yes, Fratelli means brothers. So
Nice.
they're Fratellis.
So what? So we didn't get to this part. What is your favorite part of this movie?
I have two. I like when Mikey's talking to One Eyed Willie and telling him that he's found him and beat him and all this stuff, and that he was the first Goonie. And I also like when at the very end when they're almost signing the paperwork, and Mouth is like, "No, don't sign it," and like he writes on the guy with the pen. I
Hmm.
don't know. I just think that's funny. I don't know. I just think that's like a stick it to that guy that we're not doing this. We're not signing ever. And I thought that was
Right.
pretty. I like those two parts.
Yeah. I like. Um. I don't know. I guess when Sloth says, "Hey, you guys." Yep, that's a good part. I don't know. I just.
Relationship too in the movie.
Mm.
Sloths. I mean, out of all the characters, I really feel like in the
And
shortest time they get the closest in the shortest amount of time.
right. So it's cute watching these movies. Like I sit back and I think about different movies, and it's cute to watch these movies and be like, "Oh, these are so fun to watch." But when you really think about the situation, like I was thinking about Parent Trap the other day. That's so. Who does that? Who separates their twins and like you'll never see each other again? Like who does that? So like we were watching. I was watching Goonies, and goes up to or Chunk goes up to Sloth. It was like you're gonna live with me now. What? Like
About that,
what?
I was like, wow, I forgot about that part. And I was like, what'd your parents say? Like, did they say this was okay?
Right, I'm sure. I didn't get to see this as a kid, but I'm sure if you were a child and you were sitting and watching that, you're like, oh, how cute. They're so friendly. They love each other. And then, but no, like, what parent would be okay with a child moving in an adult man into their home like that? I don't know. It just really, it's just a movie, but it just to think about it in that sense is very weird.
Hmm. It is, and I mean, I think it's the same with The Princess Bride. All the stuff that watching it as an adult, I mean, you see things and you're like, okay, first of all, Wesley's never going to be able to climb that rope that fast.
Oh, yeah.
And then dumping rocks out of his boots when he gets up at the top. He's like, when did you get rocks in the boot? Like, when did that happen? I don't know. But yeah, it's movie. I call it movie magic.
Yep, movie magic. Yeah.
But
I like the Goonies, and I always say this. I wish I had seen it as a child because I think it would have hit differently. There's a lot of movies that I remember watching as a child, and to this day I still love them, and it brings back my childhood. But this is one that, because what kid doesn't want to find a map to a treasure, you know?
yeah.
So that's like a huge. And I asked Tony last night because I was like, I need to start asking him more what his favorite is to share with everybody. I said, what's your favorite? And he goes, I don't know. He's like, I just like the movie, the whole movie. So yeah. And he's the one that got me to watch it because I probably would have never watched this in my adulthood on my own. So he's the one that got me. He's like, you've never watched the Goonies?
That's, yep.
He had to remedy
yeah.
that real quick.
Well, most people, like, some people won't like that have it. I mean, most people, if you ask them, they've probably seen it at least once. At least.
Yeah.
If hadn't, or they could be like me and rented it all the time to the point where my mom now knows the theme song at the beginning of it when the car race is going on and the Fratellis are running from the police in the car race. She knows that you're watching the Goonies just from that music that's playing during that.
Yeah.
And she'll be in, like, if I'm at her house and I've got it on for some reason, she'll be, is that the Goonies again? That's how much I watched it.
Yeah.
She would take us to rent movies maybe once every month at least. And every time I would rent that movie. Like, it was just, that was a standing thing. That's the movie I would rent.
Yeah. She should have just bought it for you.
I know. I ended up having to buy it for myself as an adult.
What's going on, Mom? Why aren't you buying Shelley Goonies?
Yeah. I mean, I was obsessed with it. I liked that movie. I don't know. I mean, it's just one of the movies. It's,
Yeah, it's a good movie. Just another one that, my kids watch and they enjoy it. And what kid wouldn't? Like I said, it's a good movie. I really like it.
Well, it's got the perfect mix of action and adventure and just, like you said, on the map and things like that. It's got a little bit of, well, not like romance, but a little bit of, like, puppy love going on,
I do. My other favorite scene, I do have two. My other favorite is the kissing scene where she kisses Mikey.
Yes, and she's like, does Brand wear braces? And watch that hole. I think he was standing in it.
Yep.
And the other Steph knows exactly what's going on. And she's like, open your eyes the next time. It's a totally different experience.
Yep. Well, and then whenever she does kiss Bran, and then Bran finds out, she's like, shh. It was cute. It's a cute movie. I really like it.
Well, and I read that on June 7th, that date is officially declared the Goonies Day by the mayor of Astoria during the 25th anniversary. So or in 2010. So I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, we could have waited until then to do this, but I don't know if we could have waited that long and done this video in June.
Well, I guess the 25th anniversary was in 2010. So they did it June 7th of 2010 was when it was officially declared Goonies Day. And then I guess I saw too, and I thought this was kind of fun. I thought it was kind of cool that they did this. When they, like, all the kids in the cast were not allowed to see the pirate ship.
Yes.
Like, they weren't allowed to see that set until they saw it for the first time. And I guess Brand's character, or Brand, his Josh Brolin, was like, holy, and they had to cut that out when he first saw it, because that's what his reaction was, so they had to cut that, because yeah. So, and there was a lot, like, watching it as an adult and watching it again, I forgot how much cussing there was in it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just, by the kids themselves, not even, like, the adults, but by the kids.
Yeah, I think there was a total, for SHIT, there was a total of 19, I think it was. And that doesn't include, one of them said that they wouldn't cuss. They told their mom they wouldn't cuss. So he says, holy SHIT. He spells it out.
Yes.
Forget who.
Data. Yep, Data.
Yeah. Data.
Data. The boy that played Data promised his mom he wouldn't cuss.
I'll just spell it out, Mom.
When I watch these movies and I see these kids saying some pretty harsh words in them, I'm like, I don't know. That just, it turns me off from the movies. And I'm not even a parent yet. And it kind of like, I don't know. I just don't like that. I don't feel like, so, because I'm talking, they're using the F word or the MF word, or, you know what I mean? Like, no.
Yeah. I don't like GD. That one bothers me to know, and I can't stand. Yeah. That's probably like the one I can't stand the most.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I just wasn't raised to say certain things, and that's definitely one of them.
Yep. But yeah, movies that have stood the test of time, and I think we'll continue to. I just think Goonies is, again, the same way. I think it's just, it gets more and more fans, new fans, more people become not obsessed with it, but they like it, and it's, a favorite of theirs.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they have panels, people, interviews. They still do interviews on it and all that.
Well, I think that cast, unlike the Princess Bride cast, I'm pretty sure all that cast, all of it is still living, I think. Mm-hmm. All of, like, the major cast, like, all the kids, I'm pretty sure they're all still here and can do them, like, can do the cast reunions and stuff.
Yeah. Which those are fun.
Mm-hmm. I like watching them. I think it's fun to watch them get back together and talk about, filming and what it was like and what they're up to now. And I think that's fun. That's why, like, I enjoyed watching the Princess Bride one when they got back together.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of interesting to see, because you can tell how close they all got. You really can. Like, when you spend that much time with that many hours a day with some, people, you become family.
Right. Yeah, and they all turned out pretty well, except for Corey Feldman. I don't know what happened to him.
Well,
I understand. I do. I understand. But, like,
fame got the best of him. And I think that what comes with fame, and money. Because, let's be honest, he was huge back in the day. Him and Corey Haim together, they were both very big child stars. I think with that came money, and with that came access to parties and things like that, and I think that's where it all started for him anyway.
Well, all those kids there was things that happened behind the scenes that shouldn't have happened to a child. That was an issue. But the two Coreys, they had a reality show, and I went back and watched some of that stuff, and I cannot get over how Corey Feldman treated Corey Haim, and just how, I don't know, that relationship was just toxic as adult. I don't know what it was like when they were younger, but as adults, you could tell it was very toxic. And Corey Haim, you could just tell, was a gentle soul and, like, genuinely just a kind-hearted person. So I think Corey Feldman fed off of that and just took advantage of it. And I don't know. If you guys are Corey Feldman fans, I'm sorry, but I just don't know if I care for him.
Like you said, I do agree that it definitely was a toxic relationship with the both of them. And I think they've said that, or Corey Feldman has. Sometimes it just wasn't good for them to be together. They got in a lot of stuff together, so. Yeah,
well, Corey Haim's mom's not very appreciative of the stuff that Feldman says. All right, friends. That's it for this episode, The Goonies and Princess Bride. What did you guys get for Christmas? Tell us about these movies. Are they your favorite? Do you not like them? Why do you not like them? But we're very interested if you would like us to cover your favorite childhood movie. Like Shelley, you got to rent it over and over again. Please let us know. We'll talk about it next. But until next time, that's it in a nutshell.